Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive, back with our regularly scheduled programming. Hopefully that puts me back into a winning space in the NFL, because last week was a kick in the dick. Congratulations if you had Messi and Argentina getting to the final, France to the final, fun semifinals, World Cup finals, going to be unfreaking believable. But we're not here to talk football. We're here to talk football.
Yeah, just real quick, dream final.
Dream.
So many stars, so much star power. Two teams like this, and I have no idea what to do with it. It could legitimately be a very cagey affair where the defenses just have the answers for some of these stars, or this could be like 4-3 in extra time. And Benzema's back. I doubt he starts. I really don't think you start him, but
yeah, that's nail on the
super sub.
That's nail in the coffin. You don't want his energy anywhere around the way they're playing right now.
No,
Benzema is literally French for cancer, if I'm correct.
I am not a European oncologist, but I feel like that's correct. He's a really nice sub option, or
sure,
know, maybe if you go to
amazing
penalties.
club player, but French national team, he is their kryptonite. Let's get right into the slate, man.
Yeah,
we got a million freaking games.
FL, all the teams are playing. No more buys.
Yeah,
and honestly, there's only like 5 teams that aren't playing for something.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like
that's true.
Two weeks ago, we were talking about what needed to happen for the Chicago Bears to overtake Carolina for the number 2 overall draft spot. Carolina now has like a 20% chance to win their division and go to the playoffs. It's NFL.
Amazing. The degree, I looked at my power ratings and just kind of off the cuff, just out of curiosity, the difference between the 9th best team and the 24th best team right now is like a point. This is crazy. It's crazy. Let's kick this off with the Niners, who take on the Seattle Seahawks in primetime. I have played the Seattle Seahawks plus the 3.5 points. Don't feel great about it. Seahawks defense has been a miserable disaster of a unit for going on since the bye. And it's tough for me to really figure out what's going on, other than they can't really get stops when they need them. Offense, I'm not as worried about here, particularly because they're taking on a Niners team that's dealing with the cluster injury at the defensive backfield. Niners also lost a couple of guys on the kind of the depth of their D line. They still have Joey Bosa, obviously, who matters the most, but they still have Fred Warner, who matters the second most. They still have Hufanga, I believe he'll be available, who matters the third most. So the spine of the defense is intact, but some of the depth is mixing. I think the Seahawks can put a little pressure on the Niners here on the scoreboard, and then it's up to Brock Purdy and his strained oblique and his bruised ribs, I guess, to see if he can kind of manifest another magical victory for the Niners under the lights in hostile territory with the Seahawks playing for their playoff lives. Decent spot here for Seahawks to keep this one competitive.
I still have the over. I have a small bet on the over for Sunday.
I think that's a good bet. I think that's a good bet.
I hate double dipping. I've probably done this twice
in the
last year, but I did bet the Seahawks as well. I think this should be 3. I think it should be 8. I think you should be paying like minus 120 to get a 3 here.
Hold on to that thought for about 15 hours, because I feel like as we get closer to close, it's probably where this is going.
Yeah, I'm not sure this should ever tip past 3, but I think that's like where the market should be heading is you should have to pay a little extra to bet plus 3 here.
Dude.
It is, like I said on the Sunday recap / Monday recap, the final vestige of home field advantage in this league as we evolve past teams having struggles traveling and getting with it when they move around the country. But Kenneth Walker Jr. is practicing. Like that's a huge difference. And I know no running back should really be moving the line, but the difference between him and his backups is pretty big. The running back delta, if you will, like it's pretty massive. And I think you're buying low on Seattle, all things considered. If you can even get back to 80% of what they were looking like during their high points, they likely win this game. This is a very winnable game against a defense that has, like you said, a lot of stars are still playing, but they are missing some important pieces, and they're missing them where it really hurts against, not only it's not even a 2 wide receiver like room that's really good. Like Goodwin is a thing now. They have 3 pretty healthy receiving options against a secondary that I think they can beat at home. That said, Debo's out, and that sucks.
CMC's banged up. Yeah,
wild that he's coming back. CMC's a little banged up, but I think they're still going to get theirs on the ground. That's why I do like this over.
Yeah,
I feel like both teams get to about 24-27, and hopefully 24-27 either way works for me.
Yeah. I mean, Sam brings it up. Debo being out, bigger deal than what people are making out to be. I think so. But I thought Jimmy G being out was a bigger deal than it was being made out to be. So it's almost like scheme trumps everything.
Yeah,
it's scheme trumps everything with this Kyle Shanahan offense right now. It's
I don't think you can ride that forever though. Remember how I talked about this last week? I said we have no idea what the game plan is with Purdy, and that gives them an advantage, but that wanes as he plays week in and week out. So the longer Purdy plays, the less element of surprise you can have about what his limitations are as far as your scheme.
Yeah.
So and it's the NFC West human centipede circle. Pete, how it's like Shanahan owns McVay and McVay owns Cliff, and Pete does kind of own Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan ends up chewing Pete's swallowed gum. Is that the human centipede version of this? Okay. Well, let's keep going down the card. On Saturday, we have a triple header. These are out of order. Let's do Baltimore, Cleveland first, since that's the earliest kickoff, I believe. Yes. No? Indy? Oh, these are out of order. Okay, thank you, Dan. Put them in correct order for kickoff. Why in the world did they misnumber these? Didn't know what order they were going to be in until?
No, we didn't. They adjusted it.
Yeah. Okay, so the first kickoff is Colts at Vikings. So see, I'm just used to looking at the rotation number. I figured that meant it was the middle game, but it is not. It's the early kickoff. This goes 10 a.m. my time. Woo! We get Kirk Cousins a little further away from prime time. Maybe that's a good thing. I'm being a little tongue in cheek. I don't really buy into that a ton, but I do buy into the fact that Vikings are expected to have Christian Darrisaw and Bradbury back. That is the perfect recipe for an offense that will be firing up against the Colts defense that is limited. Colts offense, similarly, you got a statuesque quarterback behind a unit that can't pass protect. I would expect they lean pretty heavily into the ground game. Predictable offense against a defense that can really, it can be beat by a good dynamic offense, but I think can perform well against a limited one. Vikings, I think, cover this number. Not my favorite look on the board, but I do think this should be 6. So I laid the Vikings.
I'm opposite there. I have, and maybe with the cluster injury resolving itself on the offensive line for Minnesota, I should reevaluate this. But I looked at this right away and I said, I'm supposed to bet the Colts here. And I can't do that. Not for real. Yeah. Especially with just some of the messiness around, the late timeouts, not lack of timeouts. The coaching is just a little thin. They're a little thin. They have a cluster injury at the coaching staff. So I'm not super excited about betting this team on the road versus it is kind of a dynamic offense. I know Cook looked bad last week, and maybe the running game doesn't get going again. Honestly, I don't give a shit about this game. All I want to see, I've already cashed Minnesota over 9 wins. They can pound sand, lose the rest of the games. I don't care. I would just like Jefferson to have about 150 yards per game for the rest of the way out. So, and it's a good spot for him. It's an indoor game. home crowd, and like you said, it's a team they match up okay with. So
Yeah.
this is probably, and like Abahef is pointing out, with a healthy offensive line, maybe Cook looks a little better.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's been that way for years. Minnesota's run game a little more predicated on the scheme. So if that works out, good job. So no bet for me here.
All right. Man.
Real question.
Hawks went on like a 14-2 run there. DeAndre Hunter, turns out he plays with heart, the only guy on the Hawks. Yes, I will be watching the third place game. I have an enormous stake on Mr. Bono to be the Golden Glove winner. I need Morocco to get a clean sheet in an exhibition game effectively. I need air. I care a lot about the third place game in the World Cup. I admit it. A lot more at stake for me there than Minnesota Indy. Let's keep moving to Baltimore Cleveland, though, where I have another bet on Saturday. I think I'm betting all three of these games on Saturday. So far, we're going to be 4 for 4 when we get there.
Before you even get to it, it looks like we're not getting downtown Anthony Brown. Has this moved at all today? I haven't tracked this market.
Which one? Baltimore. Cleveland?
Yeah.
It's come back down a little bit. It's 2.5 right now. I think if I had to guess, there's a glimmer, 5% chance that Lamar Jackson goes, 55% chance that it's Huntley, and 40% chance that it's Brown. Maybe
I'm way higher that it's Huntley. I think the
you
practice,
think it's 90% chance that it's Huntley.
Yeah, I think the practice reports are kind of. I don't know. Maybe chat chime in on this, but I'm like 80-20. It's Huntley. I feel like
okay.
I'm dangerously close to pulling a trigger on just Ravens money line, but boy howdy, doesn't this become a really sexy teaser leg if it's Huntley?
Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely. And again, Baltimore teasers, there's a little bit of not great feelings there. They didn't necessarily deserve to cover the teaser like last week. They certainly didn't deserve to cover the game, in my opinion. And they did deserve to cover it against Denver. So, but 2.5 with this total at 37. Oh my God. That is a absolute beauty banger smash.
Every time we say this about the Ravens, though, go out and shit the bed. So Ravens teaser legs. I'm not one of those guys who's like, this team's on my blacklist and I've crossed them off and I can't use them anymore. But I wouldn't blame you guys if you didn't want to hear it about a Ravens teaser leg. So
real quick, why bet Cleveland? I laid the 2.5 because
J.K. Dobbins was so ineffective last week and the Browns' run defense is so good?
No, absolutely not.
The pass rush. Talk about the pass rush over the last month. Now that they've gotten their pieces all healthy for the Browns, I think that could be a factor versus a backup quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. It could and it should. The passing game for the Ravens is going to be non-existent here. This is one-dimensional offense for them. All of it's going to come on the ground. If Cleveland can do any semblance of run stop, I think that they win this one pretty comfortably. I don't know that you're going to get. I don't know that you can't continue to build what you're getting out of Deshaun Watson through 2 games. It's been miserable to start here, surely, but he's given you better second halves than first halves in both games. The scheme, it feels like they're still trying to figure out what exactly they want to do with him and the way they're utilizing him and sort of who they have on the field. I would guess that we see something more like the standard Cleveland offensive approach in this one with lots of heavy personnel and trying to beat Baltimore that way. Because, you don't really have the wide receivers to go after the secondary the way a lot of other teams do. This isn't a perfect matchup for Cleveland at all. I just think with the outside chance that it's Anthony Brown, I don't mind having 2.5 in pocket. That's really the only reason I played it. That end, of course, Cleveland does not love Baltimore because they stole their franchise before they gave them the Browns back.
Did you see that Belichick story?
I loved that story.
Loved it. Was it Boulware?
Boulware, yeah, Peter Boulware.
Peter Boulware, where he invited him.
He somehow had say on the final roster of the Pro Bowl.
I think if a player were to exit the roster because of an injury late, maybe the coaches had some sort of say like, hey, bring in Peter Boulware. And turns out Belichick did that because it would have cost Modell $1 million
just to stick it in Modell's eye.
Yeah.
Just
to be fair, Modell was a piece of shit. So. I say was.
Okay.
I mean, he's not with us, correct?
No.
There's no chance Art Modell.
I think Art Modell probably passed in 2005, maybe. That's my guess.
Sort of
he was not especially well loved. He passed away in 2012.
I still see them.
2012.
The Mayflower trucks. That's the B-roll that everybody uses for that. The Mayflower trucks leaving the.
Well, that was Irsay's dad taking the Colts to Indy.
What's that?
That wasn't Modell.
Maybe I'm not even thinking of the right thing.
That was that B-roll exists for a lot of things, but it's mostly Colts leaving Balto. Yeah, not Cleveland coming to Balto. Miami takes on Buffalo in what looks to be the interesting market of the week. This thing opened 47. It got smashed with a sledgehammer down to 42. It's back up to 43.5, even though there's winter weather warnings now for lake effect conditions in the Orchard Park area for the hours of prime time on Saturday through Sunday morning. Best of luck to whoever feels like this is going to have any kind of an offensive bump to it. And on the other hand, Buffalo down from 7.5 to 7. Didn't think it was going to happen. It happened in a hurry. So basically, the latest market move here suggests that Miami is going to show up offensively. Huh?
Well, let's do a little reminder. Miami won the first game 21-19.
Yeah, how was the weather there?
The weather was nicer because it was September in Miami. Also, Miami had 212 total yards in that game compared to the Buffalo Bills' 497, in which they only lost the turnover battle 1-0. If anyone remembers that, it was a very, very tilting. I didn't bet that game, but very, very tilting result for anyone who had the Bills in any way there.
I think I had the over and it was tilting. The play of the game, of course, was the butt punt.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers that. Got him right in the gooch. I would say
I feel like there was some taint on that.
There was some taint.
There
was some taint. That was laces right into taint. The Tua's mechanics have fallen apart. I blame that on the offensive line to a degree. The Bills have a decent pass rush. The Bills can get after you. They have some innovative ways they like to create pressure. Tua's going to be under duress in this one. If it's wet, if it's cold, the ball's slipping and slopping. The Dolphins are trying to do things the way that they typically do them, getting plays in chunks to Hill and Waddle. I mean, are they getting 150 yards in this one? Waddle's turning out, right?
Healthy. Waddle's not healthy nor effective right now. I think Tyreek is closer to healthy than maybe I thought last week. But yeah, his mechanics, it's just like the Knobloch thing we brought up a month ago with somebody else. Like every throw just looked labored and pained and wrong. And it's not even just the being left-handed. Like they were ducks, they were shot puts, they were inaccurate, they were high, they were low, they were outside. It was a really, really tough.
And that wasn't even the good players. That wasn't even the good players for the Chargers defense. We didn't even mention that on Monday. Like the B team was out there and they couldn't do anything against them. Buffalo kind of created the blueprint for getting physical with Hill to disrupt his ability to change the game. So the idea that they aren't going to use what they've seen the last 2 weeks on top of what they already did and double down on that would be my expectation. And I mean,
don't think, did Jeff Wilson practice today? Anyone? I know he wouldn't have yesterday.
Are they getting Teron Armstead back? Is that why people bet them? Dolphins?
I'm not sure.
This is one of those where like this late in the season when the market makes a move that's super unpredictable like this, it's a signal that I need to not be betting this game because there's something that I don't know about the way this is going to go. I will tell you this though. I love Mike McDaniel. I love his scheme. I love it's refreshing to have a new new style of leader in the NFL head coaching ranks.
Yeah.
So I say this trepidatiously
from a place of love.
Him walking around with the shirt and the sweatshirt and dancing and like, hey, I wish it was colder. That plays great if you're winning. After the last two losses they have, doesn't play as good. Doesn't resonate as much with the players.
I have a different reason for it not playing.
Okay, go ahead.
Because he's wearing fucking capris. He's a man, and I feel like I'm fashion forward. I'm wearing pink for God's sakes, but those capris didn't look good on him, or whatever they were. They were just rolled up joggers, maybe.
They're rolled up joggers, but that's like the kind of the point, though. Like if you're winning, freaking let your flag fly.
It's kind of like Dan Campbell. Like the Dan Campbell shtick doesn't play well if this team is like 1-14.
Yeah, right. But as soon as they start winning, it's galvanizing, right?
And Dan will crucify me for this, but it's the Step Brothers interview fart scene. Like, oh man, yes. Now the T-shirt seemed kind of fucked up, guys.
It's exactly it, Andy. That's exactly it.
I don't have a strong read on the move here. If it's the belief that Armstead and Wilson both play, that Waddle's making a meaningful step forward. And Abahef says it's because of the weather. I would buy it's because of the weather if the spread didn't also go to 7, convincingly to 7. Once they make a movie with a new scene that perfectly encapsulates like that feeling, I will, but I can't.
Okay, so even if it's not quite as cold, if it's not quite as windy, did you see the first half of the Bills Jets game? Like that, nobody was getting anything going there.
It was ugly.
It was wet. It was slick. Like guys were coming out of cuts slow. Balls were sailing even on Josh Allen, who has a legit cannon for an arm. Like I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get the and if somebody buying back just for the hell of it, then maybe that's it. But I don't think that moves markets as convincingly as this move today. But
Saturday, this would be me and my in-laws.
Ooh,
coming from South Dakota,
celebrating Christmas early.
Lamb chop lollipops on the menu, guys.
Oh hell yes!
Very excited for those. So
are they coming specifically to see Lenny?
Yes.
Yeah, they saw your Lenny post and they were like, we're coming this weekend.
Yeah. My wife's sister also got a new puppy just now. So our dogs sent them a letter with a gift card for Christmas. Signed them with
really
their paws.
Nice.
Yeah, just fucking getting
so
text
nice.
And rolling my eyes at all day today.
That's so nice.
What kind
of dog is Lenny?
He is a Great Pyrenees.
A Great Pyrenees. Okay.
So there's two kinds of these, depending on
one of the most outstanding puppy pictures I've ever seen. That was just
depending on which side of the mountains you were on was what kind of dog you were. It was like a Hatfields and McCoys thing. If you're on the Spanish side, it was like they called it something different, and there was like this divergence in the breed based on the French and Spanish side. But they're both just giant bleeping dogs that guard animals.
I love it, man.
Shout out to all the people. I didn't even think of because he's a thick ass.
He's
boy.
thick, yes.
And
Fat Lenny.
I didn't even think of the Leonard Fournette thing.
Was it named after like Lenny Bruce or?
Oh, Lenny Small. He's a gentle giant that I'm gonna have to shoot at later on in life.
You named him Lenny after Mice and Men.
Yes,
you got Steinbeck.
He's
He went
full.
Steinbeck.
He's a full gentle giant. But yeah, no, all the people like the 19 comments that called him playoff Lenny independently all made me laugh. So
Yes, yeah. Fat Lenny, baby.
So we're on to Sunday.
All right, let's move on to
I
Sunday.
do love this that they're having these standalone Saturday games. The way this is
hell
working
yeah.
out. Awesome.
Yeah. So shortly after we see Argentina defeat France and Messi hoist the World Cup trophy for the first time in his illustrious career, we will we're gonna tune right into Falcons Saints. It's gonna be an abrupt transition, but it's gonna be fine because we are professionals. That's what we do. Falcons.
I'm kind of excited about this. Neither of these teams is out of their division race. This is hilarious how many games kind of matter this late in the year.
Yeah, what do we expect from the Falcons offensively under new quarterback Desmond Ridder? And what did you think of the transition of power there? Nice and smooth. I think Art Smith handled it about as well as he could. I don't think the locker room was really Mariota's at this point, but maybe it was. What was your read on sort of the temperature of that franchise?
Yeah, I felt like Mariota got thrown under the bus maybe a little more than he should because he's legitimately having surgery. And if he's only having surgery now as like a cover surgery to be like, no, for sure, I was really hurt. I'm not just quitting on the team. So yeah, I have a surgery. That's commitment to the bit. First off, good for you. But yes. I do think it was like, commitment. I feel like he took it in the shorts a little too hard. And I thought as much as Arthur Smith probably hasn't handled everything as well as he could have in general. I thought it was okay. I don't know what to expect from Ridder. I did watch him a little in college. It should be a similar feeling offense. He's not that different of a stylistically quarterback than Mariota, but he's also never played in the NFL. I watched a little bit of preseason, so I can't bet this game. I don't know what we're going to get from him. It could be he could go full Brock Purdy, or he could go full fall in your face Zach Wilson.
He doesn't exactly have weapons to work with in the passing game.
No,
they may not ask him to do much of that anyway. They just need him to they need him to hike the ball and hand it off to, I guess, one of 3 or 4 different, backfield options. I'm with you. This is a pass. If anything, under 42.5. You're on the road making your first start as a rookie. Probably not going to be pretty. If the Falcons come in and under 20 points here, is anyone in the universe going to be surprised? I don't think so.
Not be pretty.
And the Saints, on the other hand, still have Andy Dalton out there slinging it to Chris Olave and a bunch of other guys who probably should be on practice squads.
Does Olave have any shot at Rookie of the Year if he has a decent stretch?
It seems to me
like 20-30% maybe.
I would put it at like 10. It seems to me people are not inclined to reward the Saints offense for whatever reason.
I can't blame them.
Yeah. Even if he has the counting stats, it's been so mixed.
He would need to have like a Christian Watson type of month.
Yeah. I mean, if the Jets don't make the playoffs at all, then all bets are off for the Jets winning the 2 Rookie of the Year awards. People may hold that against them.
It'll be funny if the Jets and Giants go like 0 for 14 in the last 7 weeks.
I mean, funny or like kind of like par for the course. Fair. All right. Well,
I'm not going to get involved.
Giants have one tie in there, man. They got a tie in there.
If somebody has something cognizant take on this, maybe an angle on a player prop or something, by all means, drop it in the chat, drop it in the live chat, drop it in the Twitter machine. But for me, I'm not interested in spending time trying to figure out how Desmond Ridder fits into this offense outside of he probably doesn't right away. Like you're right, it's going to be 20 attempts tops.
Yeah. That sounds right to me. Maybe I need to relook at this under. I don't really feel like betting this game, though. Let's move on to Detroit at the Jets, where we have, as aforementioned, your 2 Rookie of the Year leaders on a team that is working its way out of the playoffs. It was a valiant effort against the Bills. It was a valiant effort against who they played before the Bills? Was it the Jets? I think it was the Jets. They're coming close. but they're not getting it done. Mike White gets popped in the ribs to the degree where I would guess he probably has some bruised ribs, if not torn cartilage, if not broken ribs, cracked ribs. They may shoot him up with Toradol and send him out there on Sunday, but I'm prepared for a surprise at quarterback from the Jets in this one, just based on how severe that injury was and what you're seeing in the practice reports. Lions, on the other hand, are the hottest team in football right now. Go figure. They're having a Miami-esque season from last year where they went 1-6 and turned it around and go 6-1. Like, that's kind of crazy that we've had this now 2 years in a row where a team has completely flipped their fortune at midseason, but the Lions are doing it. They're doing it on the back of very clean offensive performances from Jared Goff. Jared Goff has a full complement of healthy weapons right now and an offensive line that's performing well and a running game that complements his abilities in the passing game. And it's just, in general, a flat out good offense. The Jets is a very good defense, though. And if you look at who the Lions have played over the last handful of weeks, when they have qualified as a quote unquote good offense, it's been a lot of bad defenses. So this is a step up in class, and it's on the road, and the conditions may be a little wild. So expecting the Lions to underperform offensively from an scoring output, I think is a fine kind of baseline, right? Like, they're not getting to 30 in this one. They're going to have to win this one ugly, which means their defense is going to have to step up. And if they're against Flacco or Zach Wilson, then I give them a fair chance. If they're against Mike White, and Mike White is playing the way we've seen him the last couple of weeks, then the Jets should win this one. I don't have any inclination to get involved in the guessing game.
Just based on just ideal conditions for the Lions last week, going up against a secondary that not only has been beleaguered, beaten, and just bandied about. I was looking for another alliteration there. That didn't really work. But either way, not only that, but with more injuries to that secondary, including an important piece, indoors.
Battered would have been a good one.
Battered was good.
Beaten.
Yeah, and this did, like the half is pointing out, this did open higher. Half the reason I'm not betting this under is because I missed so much.
The good price.
And it makes sense. The total makes total sense. It is going from a great situation against a beat up and bad secondary indoors to outdoors on the road, cold weather, with Jared Goff outdoors, cold weather.
In his little hands.
Good secondary, a legitimate top 5, top 10 kind of coverage unit at this point. Bruised.
Yeah. Battered, beaten, and bruised. So I didn't play this one. I don't. It's a
no. At this point, I've missed it.
I do think, though, that the Jets can. The situation to monitor is quarterback there. Who's playing quarterback? If it's Zach Wilson, that hurts Garrett Wilson's rookie of the year a lot. I got a good amount of that last couple of weeks. I don't feel super great about Zach Wilson returning to the fold, although if he has won the support of the locker room because he took the benching well and because he worked hard with the practice squad, then I can see a path to where they play hard for him. We'll see. Sauce Amon-Ra is going to be fun, Ben. Ben says it. He is correct. It's a great matchup. Amon-Ra, a bona fide wide receiver one. Sauce, if he can, and I think Sauce is solid defensive rookie of the year. I don't think Hutchinson can steal. And the reason I say that, besides the fact that Sauce is from New York, is because it's not like he's going to get burned now. Teams aren't even really trying to beat him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not yet. Like, he's not going to.
If there ever was a team that had an incentive to.
Oh, it would be the Lions. It's true.
To be to get Hutch a little love.
Yeah. So Hutch in his tiny T-Rex arms is going up against the Jets O-line that's also hurting. Yeah, this is a fun game. No bets for me, though.
Exactly. Moving on. Kansas City at Houston. And this is another one too, where also back to Amon-Ra. This is why I don't pay attention to my fantasy. Now I went and checked Also, I had to because I'm the commissioner. I had to set up the playoffs. I'm like, oh, I scored the most points in the league. My team was actually kind of good. And then basically everybody I have all week has a terrible matchup this week. I have Amon St. Brown. I have Josh Jacobs, who apparently like broke a finger. I can't even remember. Dak, I think, is my quarterback. Whatever. It's gonna be one and done in the playoffs. But I'm just happy to be here.
You're getting your guys some experience. That's what matters.
Yeah.
You know, you're building for the future, Andy. KC plays Houston. No opinion. This looks correct. Chiefs 14 points better than the worst team in the league. Sure. Total 49.5 has been bet up, if I remember correctly. I agree with that as well. That's 49 actually at Chris, but yeah, it got bet up from 47. That sounds correct to me. No real interest in getting involved with this one at these prices.
Odd game. Like, I can see support for the Texans again, but
Yes.
It's a weird situation where they said they're going to do this dual quarterback thing for the rest of the season. There's going to be a week where that just falls so flat on its face, and this team just gets beat battered and bruised.
Yeah. There's been a lot of people this week. I mean, there's been like a concerted push to validate Jalen Hurts with MVP talk. Have you heard the cases? Are they compelling? And is this as obvious a bet on Mahomes as I would make it out to be? Or is there because like the price for Hurts to win MVP is just that he beats the Cowboys next week.
Yeah. And I mean, the Chiefs running the table and him having some classic Mahomes moments, having some big plays would be, I think he could overtake it. And honestly, that market probably is not as super indicative, maybe even as much as it used to be with the ranked choice voting. I still think Mahomes carries a lot of sway.
Yeah, Mahomes getting 1 or 2 on every single ballot makes sense to me. Hurts might also get 1 or 2 on every ballot.
Yeah, I think it's close. Like, I don't think either team should be, or either player should be favored. It should be a pick 'em right now, the way probably the market feels about the voters feel about these guys. But there's a lot being made of the team success, the extreme lack of turnovers on Hurts's part, whereas Mahomes has thrown some picks this year. So I get it. I still think if you gave me a free bet at the current prices, I would be betting Mahomes.
Yeah, the only game that there have been 2 games where the balance of the win-loss was even in doubt for the Eagles that I can remember. It was the Commanders game that they lost. Hurts was not good in crunch time in that one. And it was the Colts game that the Eagles barely squeaked by. And that was because they ran. I don't know. I don't. The quality of competition has been so desperate between what quarterbacks in the AFC have had to do and what Hurts has been asked to do this year. It's just night and day. I just don't think. I think regardless of what the voters end up choosing, and awarding a quarterback MVP on a 1-loss, 16-win team, I don't think, and no one's gonna bat an eye at that. Like that's fine. Like big, I get it. But at that point, like right now, the Eagles are dogs to the Cowboys next week.
Yep.
If they lose that game, I don't think Hurts wins. If they win that game, then Hurts probably gets the award. And so why not just bet Eagles money line? You probably get a better price than you can get for Hurts MVP right now, if you feel that way. That's kind of my general spirit. Otherwise, if there's still, I don't even know if there's still Mahomes 2-1 or better anymore. I think those disappeared.
Those kind of got gobbled up. Yeah.
I think, and that was correct in my mind. So I don't know that there's a bet to be made right now, but fascinated to see how this plays out. Let's move on to Philly, the aforementioned Eagles. Any chance they slip up against a Bears team coming off a bye?
I bet this over.
Oh, interesting. At what price?
Just price it's at now. Not my strongest take.
Okay.
But
It's down from 50, so you
I
you timed it right.
Yeah, the buyback when it crossed 49. I bet this yesterday. There's a decent case for, hey, the Eagles' offense is efficient as any of the good teams, especially against a really bad defense. This Bears defense is not good. So I tried to make a case for Bears +9. It's too many points for a home team with a dynamic quarterback who can make plays that have had a couple weeks to prep for this game.
Right.
That said, Fields could have an amazing game. He could make some crazy throws. He could get a couple to Komet. We could get everybody involved. The running game could play better than we expect. And the Bears could really be impressed with their output, and they could lose by 20. Like, just doesn't it?
Yes.
It feels
the
like
Bears, the reinforcements are not coming for the Bears defense.
30, just like 30. I don't know, like 35-20, 35-17. Like those are scores that happen an awful lot, even at home here, where it's like, hey, the Eagles got to 35 at half, and then the Bears chipped away at it and still lost by 15 or 20. So I really, really, really wanted to make a bet on the Bears, and I realized, like, I'm betting on the Bears to score a little bit. Like the Eagles probably put the foot on the throat first half. They're able to do a lot, and then just the Bears have no. They kind of are Lions light, where they do play tough throughout these games.
They're not quit, right?
Yeah, there's no quit in this. So this is basically like a decent shot for me probably to look at Bears second half if they're getting just a tar kicked out of them too. If they're down by like 25, I'll probably be like betting Bears -6 second half.
If the Eagles are so gutless defensively that they can give Tyrod Taylor a garbage time touchdown, then why not Fields? If they're not willing to play a full 4 quarters and they are willing to give their opponents a free shot at home, a free 7 points for coming out, why not the Bears?
Why not us? Why not now? So not one I love.
I'm not bitter at all. I'm not bitter at all. No.
Not one I love, but this will be a big casher for me. This is basically all of my preseason win totals. If you want to say like, hey, this one was 1x, 1x, 1x. The Vikings over 9 was 2x, and then the Bears under 6.5 was 5x. Like this is the one that I played. Like I went and played this at 6 different books because there was a couple places that would be like, hey, the best numbers here, and it's like, yeah, but you can bet $250. Like that. So I ended up spreading this out across 5 or 6 books to get a price that I thought was reasonable. So this is it. Like the Eagles just take care of business, and if the Bears can chip in with 20 points, I'd be excited.
Okay. Any chance the Eagles caught looking ahead to the Cowboys next week?
That was the initial kind of read on betting the Bears, but it's just too good.
Do you think that's a narrative that's meaningful or nonsense?
There's something to be said for maybe the second, and that's another reason where I think I could be really, really talked into a Bears second half, because the game plan here is just beat the shit out of this team in the first half, and then don't put anything. Stop putting stuff on film for Dallas as soon as halftime's over.
Okay.
Just have such a lead where you don't need it.
All right. Okay. Let's keep moving. Moving down the card to the used to be frisky Steelers taking on the now very frisky Panthers in a game between 2 5-8 teams that would typically be a write-off. We wouldn't even really mention it on this show, but we got to talk about it. Panthers are laying 2.5 here with Sam Darnold. Panthers one-dimensional offensively, but that dimension is we are going to run the football. If the Steelers taught you anything last week, it's that this front seven, even as good as they are in pass, in pass rush spots, they struggle to adequately defend the run. They can be run on. Steelers quarterback situation is a little murky. This may be Mason Rudolph time. This may be Mitch Trubisky part 2. Neither of those players is any good. That said, laying 2.5 with Sam Darnold against the Steelers defense did not feel right. The total of 37.5 is remarkably low. Long tease the Steelers or forget this game even is happening. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I could make a case for this under. Whereas, like, hey, the Panthers in a good performance, they still didn't trust their quarterback. It was, let's get it done with a couple different running backs against a team we can run on. And how is this game any different? It's the same game, except it's a worse team across the field with a worse quarterback. So, I think this is a close game. I think the Panthers win, but Panthers winning by 3 feels like a very, very frequent occurrence where it's just 20-17, an awful lot. Like, these numbers are tight. This is a good price, and I'm not wanting to get involved in this. I think pick whichever running back has the lower rushing yards total and maybe bet an over on them between the two for the Panthers.
Okay. Sounds good. Oh yeah, this is up to 3 now, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck to Sam Darnold and co. It looks like DJ Moore may go. That matters a little, I guess, because the Steelers secondary is kind of JC Horn is a bona fide CB1. He can shut down Deontay Johnson in this one, even if Mitch Trubisky is otherwise doing well throwing the ball. He is going to have to figure it out on the left side. Because JC Horn, I would imagine, wipes out the right side of the field.
You know how they're doing the Russell Wilson touchdowns versus bathrooms thing?
Yes.
We should have done like Deontay Johnson touchdowns versus like houses. He doesn't have one yet. And he has like 100 damn targets.
What? Oh, yeah. And Wilson's probably not going to play again this year, so he's not going to make it.
Getting to the
touchdowns. He's not getting to the bathroom. Oh, man. All right, let's move on to Dallas at Jacksonville. Interesting one here where I think the dog has life. Jags put together a clean performance last week. It was awesome. Anyone who expected that, hat tip to you. I had a little bit of Jags in that contest, so I was very happy with that outcome. And obviously, I have a lot of Jags futures that are now no longer underwater. They're about where I bet them. So it took a long time to get here, but here we are. The Jags are live for the AFC South. Now it's kind of out of their control. If Tennessee comes away with any wins really between now and when they play again in week 18, I think Tennessee pretty much puts away the South. But the Jaguars are in a spot where we went
over this. Tennessee can win one game as long as the Jaguars only lose this one. And I'm assuming it's this one.
It's tough.
But the Jaguars are live. They're live and lively.
They are. So biggest reason they're alive beyond just the fact that they themselves are playing better, Cowboys a little beat up.
Yeah. Let's call it a cluster injury on the defense at this point.
Okay.
And they've had injuries on the offensive line. They are in such a spot where the desperation starts to stink when you sign somebody like T.Y. Hilton at this point in the year, what does that say about the state that Odell Beckham Jr.'s body is in? That it's not as good as T.Y. Hilton. That someone signed T.Y. Hilton. So the secondary is whooped and beat. If Trevor Lawrence can have one of his games where he plays well and doesn't, I don't really get why they needed another wideout. Noah Brown's playing fine. It was a weird move. It did not make a lot of sense. Nobody was running to the store. Yeah, saying we don't need T.Y. Hilton. We have T.Y. Hilton at home. Yeah, that's right. We have T.Y. Hilton at home. We're good. Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott are much more of the focus, I think, of the offense in this contest, going up against the Jaguars team that has been beaten on the ground pretty successfully by teams that scheme well. Tony Pollard obviously is a dynamic force. Zeke Elliott is not. That said, Cowboys offensive line loses Steele. I think that matters a bit. You're going to have to now break in and kind of reshuffle and figure out kind of new roles, responsibilities on the fly here. He's like Tyler the one Smith piece that moves to left never tackle. Was missing any time. Yeah. Tyler Smith is not he's not a bad play. He's pretty solid draft choice, actually. He moves to left tackle, it looks like. Then you're going to have Connor McGovern at left guard. Tyler is still the center. Zach Martin is still your right guard. Josh Ball now the right tackle. So a little bit of reshuffling there as you deal with the absence of
of Terrence Steele. Tyron Smith will eventually come back, I would imagine, but this is looking like a extremely thin offensive line. Can't afford another injury. The defensive issues are bigger and more noteworthy in my mind. You're losing your replacement players in the secondary on top of just kind of a continued attrition on the D line. Micah Parsons is having to make up all of the difference in that, and it's affecting his ability to kind of be the dynamic pass rusher we remember and really be sort of that kind of key force. He has been a little quiet lately. Haven't seen him really compiling the statistics like we saw previously in this calendar year. I don't know that the Jaguars win, but I think this is a very competitive game. Yeah, I don't think what we saw last week was entirely Dallas taking Houston too lightly. I think Houston played Dallas well and exposed some ways that you can really attack that team. So I think Jacksonville can build on that. Down to 4, as long as you're getting over 3, I think this is still a play on Jacksonville.
Fair. Yeah, I didn't bet it, but that's the way I'd lean right now.
Okay. The Arizona Cardinals are going to play the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that was a bummer on Monday, more so because I bet the Cardinals to start the game.
McCoy versus Brett Rippon.
Like, we talk about some of these games late in the season having more meaning than they usually do. This is an absolute dead rubber, a dead tie, and there's no reason to get involved in this unless you just want to laugh at take the under and have a chuckle when this ends up like 7-4. McCoy is going to be good, short to intermediate. He wanted to throw every single ball ever to DeAndre Hopkins.
Correct.
Like he's going to move the ball, and Hopkins is a big part of that. Like, that's a legit wide receiver 1, man. And it's a Denver defense in general that's taken a couple steps back from the wild heights of early to mid-season here. Some of it's probably just we're fucking tired of doing it all, and it's a grind. But Arizona will move this ball. I don't know if they'll be able to punch it in. It's still a really good red zone defense. I'm not certain that the Broncos will. This offense is bad before they lost Wilson. I don't understand why they're favored here. Like, I'm tempted to bet Arizona again, and I'm just not going to do it.
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy is a lot better of a quarterback.
He is.
This should be like a pick 'em, which is kind of messed up. I don't hate betting some Cardinals here.
Oh God,
but
I
Cardinals
to do with this game.
I know
but you're right.
It's another maybe a Colt McCoy teaser leg.
You've talked me into actually handicapping this game. Now I don't. Yeah.
I know we were going to skip this.
This is Cardinals or pass.
Oh, it's
okay.
Let's just skip it.
I haven't played it for now, but I'm fine with that take.
No,
this was your Sunday Night Football game that has been flexed out. It is the New England Patriots taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. I actually haven't. I forgot entirely to check on this one. Oh yeah, let's just put Arizona in a round robin. Oh, of course. Thank you, Wilkman. My gosh. No, not just the dog parlay. Just tease the Cardinals. Yes, tease the Cardinals. Denver's not winning by 8.5 points in that one. No. Patriots also pretty decent potential teaser leg here. I think they're going to be pretty competitive against the Raiders. I forgot to check whether the Patriots stayed on the West Coast from this.
They did.
They did. Okay.
They stayed in Elko. Which is
where's that?
It's in Nevada, but it's not Vegas. Like, hey, we're not staying in the Strip, you fuckers. Like, you'll get in trouble. Elko.
It's like the middle of Nevada, the state.
It's not far from Vegas, I don't think.
It's like on the way to Zion or something.
Zion.
You ever been out there, by the way? Seen the beautiful desert?
So Elko is. Oh my God, I was wrong. It's up by like Salt Lake City.
It's up by Wells. Yeah. Jesus. What in the world inspired him to go all the way up there?
You're not getting near Reno, you're not getting near Vegas, you're not getting near Tahoe. The closest way you're going to be able to party is heading to Salt Lake City.
Elko, my goodness, man. I mean, it's closer to Burning Man than it is to Vegas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think Burning Man's happening now. I think it's probably
I don't even know if that's confirmed. That's just what I read somewhere. But I know for a fact they did not travel back. Yeah,
they did not make a flight. Okay,
Zion's
that's
on
good.
my list, man.
We are looking at a one trending towards. Oh, New England's now a 1-point favorite. Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. I don't think they're not tease worthy at that point. Okay, well, skipping this game then. Patriots.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs matters a ton for how this offense operates, and he has a finger injury. I think he plays, but that makes
extra
a big
time, extra rest here for the Raiders. Short week for the Patriots. Basically, like a little bit of a compressed schedule here for the Patriots compared to the Raiders. Raiders, although coming off of season-defining loss to Baker Mayfield on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, Jesus.
So
Christ,
good luck motivating that team, Josh McDaniels. Oh, and we forgot little Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick reunion party here. That'll be fun for everyone who cares about that. Reunion.
It's like that movie where the old guys go to Vegas with Morgan Freeman. That movie was bad.
Wild Hogs. No.
Basically Wild Hogs. Yeah, I mean,
I don't remember what it was called.
It's the same movie.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I have no plays on Patriots Raiders. Those teams being the kind of exemplary of how close the middle class of the NFL is right now. These are two middle class teams, and so the fact that it's a pick'em is right. Tennessee takes on the Chargers. Another case of two teams that are close to the middle class, although Tennessee is towards the bottom for me. Chargers are towards the top. Chargers are laying 3 at home. Don't have a ton of home field advantage, but they are playing a lot better lately. I think in general, the Titans, I don't know what they do to fix things. This on paper, this should be a good matchup for them. You got plan A, B, and C is run Derrick Henry in this game, and the Chargers still haven't really solved that. I would guess that your Chargers are continuing to get healthier though. So with Derwin James out there potentially this week, Sebastian Joseph Day may be back as well. This looks like Chargers are pass. And really I think if you feel like Jags are live and Titans are going to lose this game, you just bet the Jags to win the South as opposed to getting involved in either of those two contests because you have other outs down the way. And you can gain some equity with those two outcomes in this week. So,
Chargers over 24 and a half. I played some team total over. It's such a good spot for their offense. I do think James plays well. The Titans are there's so many fraudulent teams this year. The Titans were high on the list of those, and it's fun that every one of those teams is like getting simultaneous comeuppance.
Yes,
constant comeuppance. Yes. It's a comeuppance league, guys.
It's a comeuppance league. It's a simul come ups. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
the Titans for sure should be probably a bigger favorite, a bigger dog here, but I don't trust the Chargers to cover anything ever. If James plays, maybe. But I'm hunting around for the best team total over because I like this over in general. But I think it's going to be more based on, hey, if you have both of your number one receivers healthy, this Chargers offense is actually good. You're playing against a secondary that's beatable. So
I forgot I played the over on this.
Yeah, so I'm on Chargers team
Monday
total
pod.
over.
Okay, I'm on the full game over at 45. It's 40. Is it really 47 now?
It took a jump.
Okay.
You got a nice number.
It's 47 still a bookmaker. So it hasn't crossed 47 at the place that matters most.
Remember this show?
If it does, I'm going to be excited. Arsenio Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? How relevant? How is that relevant?
I don't know.
You were just fired up for me, and
I'm fired up for your number.
My good bet, my CLV that I can pay, buy some Christmas presents with. I do remember In Living Color. Yeah. Was that where Jim Carrey got his start as Fire Marshal Bill?
Yeah.
And Rosie Perez as one of the Fly Girls?
Oh, God, the Fly Girls.
You didn't know I was going to pull those out of the back of my brain. In Living Color. The next game on the board, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay. No idea
You
what to do
still
with this
not
game.
watch Do the Right Thing? I bring this up every
I have
year.
not. No.
My God,
No.
it's a Christmas classic.
Is it really? I feel like you're
just-
pulling my leg.
I'm gaslighting you.
You're pulling.
Watch it. It's worth watching. Danny Aiello, God rest his soul.
I just never really got Spike Lee.
I don't like a lot of his stuff. I like this one.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll put it on my list.
Okay. Ozzie Davis.
Right after I finish rewatching all of the good movies that I like. Oh, that's probably, yeah. Okay. Cincy, Tampa Bay, very weird game. Buccaneers are the most difficult team to price in the NFL. They have an aging quarterback who used to be elite, who may or may not be able to get 20 points in this game. Buccaneers cluster injury right now in the secondary. I see a lot of names that are not going to be available for this game that matter. I don't know about Vita Vea's availability. Do you have I guess as you look at the depth chart here for the Buccaneers defense, who do you think ultimately takes the field between Vita Vea, Tryon, Jamel Dean, Mike Edwards, Antoine Winfield Jr., and Sean Murphy Bunting? Because without those guys, this is just the Devin White, Levante David show.
Vita Vea is not playing.
Vita Vea is out?
I mean,
that's out. He's out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's almost with certainty.
Okay.
There's a decent chance they can get some secondary pieces back. I played this under 44. I may buy out if I can find it. It depends how the situation goes. So Higgins and Boyd participated today.
Okay.
If that is the way it's trending, and basically like the three different secondary pieces that are missing.
So many injuries in this game.
If those are all trending out, or like 2 out of the 3 trend out, I'm not going to be feeling great about this under. I still like it. I still think they're going to be able to turn Cincinnati one-dimensional and make them, hey, you're going to have to throw the ball, and we're going to throw some decent coverages at you and try to make you completely work through your wide receiver one. Like, even without Vea, it's still a good enough run scheme. I think the Bengals, it's Bengals or pass if you want to side. Like, the Bengals get to like 20 and they cover this, right? I haven't seen anything out of this Buccaneers offense that makes me excited to back them even at home, even getting the hook. So I took a little under 44. Not excited about it, but I expect this 24-10.
It
24-17.
It is worth noting that the Bengals have been struggling in pressure rate of late. They've had a very tough, and they're because they're trying to just do it with a limited set of players to try and get pressure with 3. It makes it tough. Yeah. I don't think that's a good way to attack Tom Brady necessarily. I don't know. The injuries to the wide receivers for the Bengals, the not perfect matchup of what you're good at and what they can overcome doesn't make me feel great. But at the same time, the Buccaneers defense is just an absolute travesty in terms of healthy bodies. I don't know. Is this a secret over?
I just said I bet the under, you turd.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by Magic Hawks. That game's giving me heartburn.
I just want Cincinnati to win.
Okay. Yes. Same. Since he win and Ravens lose would just be the best.
Right now, the Ravens are like -120, -130 to win the division. It is very close.
J-Mac is in my camp exactly. Can't the Ravens just fuck off? Seriously.
Bet US cashed me out. So I had a balance there. So I'm feeling better about getting my money if JJ wins the offensive player.
Okay, good. You're not going to bankrupt them with that bet? It's not.
God, no, they didn't let me bet. Well, okay. I think I might make more off Bengals to win the division there.
Yeah.
It's
New York Giants. Yeah.
Just final thought on the Buccaneers. Like, if you can't find a way to make a connection with Mike Evans, your offense is going to suck. And that's where we're at. Like, this Tampa Bay team has gotten continually worse on offense. So it might just be Cincinnati kind of trucks them here, which would be great.
I like it, man.
All right. Good. Kind of a fun Sunday nighter that a couple 7-5-1 teams, a lot of parallels between these two teams. In fact, these teams played a couple weeks ago and they tied. And we're still asking people to lay over 4 points with Taylor Heineke, again at home, but in a divisional game. Fuck me, right?
Yeah.
I looked at this yesterday too, because somebody brought up that Saquon Barkley wasn't looking so good. If you go back and look at he hasn't had this many touches since his rookie season.
Oh.
He is at about 300 touches. Obviously, 2 years ago when he was injured, he had like 20 touches because it was right away.
We got ourselves a little fatigue sitch.
Yeah, the year before, he had about 160 rushes plus maybe 40 or 50 catches. So, I mean, he is at, he's at 150% of what he did last year already, and he has 4 games left. So, Saquon Barkley hitting a bit of a fatigue wall, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the Commanders.
That takes a big bite out of what the Giants can offer because they never did really address the wide receiver issue. It was fun because they made really good adjustments at halftime. They made really good defensive adjustments at halftime, but when the offense has very little to offer, it's just not enough. And you keep joking about this team when they were like 7-3,
7-2.
7-2. You kept joking about this team
7-10,
finishing 7-10.
Well, that can't happen.
It can't happen because of the tie. But 9-1 isn't that much more impressive.
No.
I would be very.
So the last time these two teams
here, and I hate it.
So the last time these two teams played, I took the points with the Giants and I bet the money line with the Giants, and I watched a lot of that game.
What a weird push.
Weirdest push of the season.
Yeah, I think we both had the Giants there.
I hated myself for watching it. It was not good. And I learned nothing to help me make any decision about this game and these prices. If you're telling me that the gap between these two teams should be 3 points and no more than 3 points in any given scenario, okay. Commanders are coming off the bye, though. They're pretty healthy. The Giants are not especially healthy. A lot of important players are questionable, banged up, not getting reps. I feel 4.5 feels realistically fair enough that I'm not inclined to wade into the Giants' water again here. We're going to have to handicap it at halftime, though. So hopefully it's a hysterical, ridiculous game that has a chance of ending in a tie again. I don't think last time two teams tied in the same season, you know when that was, Andy?
I know, there was a team that had 2 ties 3 years ago.
No, the same two teams tied twice in the same season.
Oh God, it had to be the Stanley Steamers and
1926.
The Chicago Cardinals. And
I made that up. I have no idea. I really couldn't tell you. But I'm sure that back in the day there were a lot more ties because games were ending 0-0 and 3-3 and shit. I'll find out for you, and we'll discuss on the Sunday night halftime show because there won't be a lot to talk about the game. I can't imagine unless something absolutely wild happens.
In 1926. There were 14 ties.
I bet you there were some double ups there.
Here's some fun ones because we're running well ahead of time. I'm going to name some of the stadiums they played in. Ebbets Field.
Oh yeah,
I believe where Jackie Robinson may have made his debut.
That's amazing.
Triangle Park in Dayton.
Oh my God.
I have a fact about that I can't think of, but yeah, the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets.
Oh my gosh.
Frankfurt's Green Bay. Green Bay had not even begun playing in Lambeau yet, obviously. The Polo Grounds, another baseball. And of course, Providence played in the Cyclodrome, which sounds like it's actually from the future. And not the past.
Where'd the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets play? Was that Fiserv Forum?
Frankfurt Stadium, which was in Philly.
Frankfurt Stadium. Oh.
The Duluth Eskimos. Duluth, Minnesota apparently had a team.
The Eskimos.
It looks like the Chicago Bears had 3. They were 12-1-3. What a season!
Hey, how come some
they
teams that year?
There we go. The Bears and the Packers in
Tied
1926 tied twice, 6-6 at City Stadium at Green Bay, and 3-3 to close the season. And you know what? They beat the Pottsville Maroons that year.
How about guessing that correctly? What were the odds of that?
Yeah, Bears, Packers. Well, I mean, you just picked the teams that played the most.
I know, but still, like, no. Just
did you say 1926?
1926. Yeah,
I haven't fact checked it. It hasn't happened since then.
Yeah, that's fair. It probably hasn't.
There were 10 ties in 1929.
Holy shit! Why were there a different number of games played? Like, why did the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets play 17 games and the Hammond Pros only played 4?
Here's a fun one.
The Dayton Triangles played 6 games. Yeah, go ahead.
The Frankfurt Yellow Jackets played the Giants like 4 times that year, and they didn't score. They lost 32-0, 12-0, 31-0.
They're gonna figure out the defense next year, Andy.
So yes, in 1929, Frankfurt and the Orange Tornadoes tied each other twice, 6-6 and 0-0. The Orange Tornadoes, of course. I don't fucking know where they're from.
Dayton?
Newark. They're from Newark. All right.
Did you say the Orange Triangles?
Orange Tornadoes.
Orange Tornadoes. Oh, sorry, the Orange Tornadoes. Huh. Well, how about that?
So teams have tied each other twice in the same season, but
I'm kind of shocked to know in 1926 there was a team called the Los Angeles Buccaneers. Did you know that?
Of course. The Akron Pros. Yeah, there were so many teams that like just folded halfway through the year. Like the champions were the Yellow Jackets that year. Obviously, they're 14-1-2, but like there's a couple teams that are just 0-4. I just kind of fold during the season.
Hammond Pros, we're calling it. Louisville Colonels, we're done. The Racine Tornadoes, they couldn't outdraw the Racine Peaches in terms of putting butts in the seats, so they called it a season.
Spanish flu protocols, Jesus. TV revenue is done.
Yeah.
Any secret pod play? Let's look back upon.
I'll go to war with you. I'll go to war with you on Chargers team total over. Up against that defense that has no secondary right now, and the way Herbert's playing, and Mike Williams back, Keenan Allen back. Eckler, nice matchup for him. It's going to be that's going to be a decent opportunity for the Chargers to continue to flex. Either that, or we go under in one of these gross games.
Brett Rippon under 10 points. Across the sky.
I mean, Denver's team total is too high. That's my sincere opinion.
Chargers over 24.5. Yeah, the Bears tied 6 times in 1932. What the fuck? Anyone who ever says football used to be better is probably wrong.
They are probably wrong. Well, let's call it a pod so I can go watch the rest of this Orlando Magic Hawks game. It's been a roller coaster of emotion. For anyone who's curious, do you
have a total in it? It seems like it's over, ain't it? There's
still 5 minutes left. And if you know anything about basketball, Andy, it's game of runs. You know who would know that? Anyone that watched Celtics Lakers last night. Hot damn. My goodness gracious. What a game of runs that was. And he lost his toothpick. And if you want a fun bet in the NBA to play along with me for the season, go find yourself a shop that will give you a big fat number on the Orlando Magic to win the Southeast Division in the NBA. The Orlando Magic are trying hard. They are good. They have talented players. They're getting healthier. Now that their guards are kind of getting back to health. I'm expecting Gary Harris at some point makes an appearance here. And the rest of their division is absolute garbage. The Hawks are in a weird free fall fight between each other and their coach. The Miami Heat are an injury waiting to happen. They're old. The Charlotte Hornets and the Washington Wizards, realistically, those teams might not win a game again until February. Oh, there you go. Holt. Yes. Good.
Yeah, I'm
good.
gonna go
If you
find
got some, congratulations.
fatty
Because
on that.
there's going to be a time during the season at some point where they're like close enough to the mix that you're just going to be like, how is this ever in that range price wise? I don't know that it's going to win. I just know that it's not a 1% chance of happening. I feel like fair price on that is probably closer to like 30-1, maybe 50-1. There are 2% of that you play out the rest of the season and the Magic win the Southeast because all those teams are bad. And that's that.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining
Magic
us
on this pod.
I wish you would hit the thumbs up if you found anything useful, even if it's from the chat and not us. Subscribe if you could.
And
have
chat.
a great win.
You want to make, we're coming up on, so first of all, we're coming out a couple announcements. We're coming up on the end of this season, end of the year, right? Take care of yourself and your friends and family as this thing, things get darker and colder and holidays are stressful for a lot of people. If you're having a problem betting, you should probably take it off or just scale down to dollar bets if you just want the fun aspect of it. But keep an eye on your mental health. This is a tough time of year for a lot of people. And if you're going to make some New Year's resolutions, one of them should be, I'm going to create a YouTube account and jump there in the chat and chat along with us during the show so that we can hear your funny comments too. And so could everybody in the chat.
Yeah, honestly, because I'm just saying it's like 80% Patrick.
No, we have a great crew. There's a great core
nice.
In there. And while you're at it, join the Discord as well. We can direct you to the right people who are kind of champions of the Discord.
We didn't start
no
the
affiliation
Discord.
of the Discord.
We have nothing to gain from it other than it's some smart conversations I like to read.
Yeah, they are smart conversations.
Right. I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna go home and get some good sleep because I got a big Costco run tomorrow. It's Christmas. 4 days till Hanukkah. Happy holidays.
Great idea. Paper. If you are in an illegal betting state and you just give people paper tickets that are lotto tickets that are kind of tied to bowl games or tied to same game parlays in the NFL, like that's a great gift. There's NFL
Starbucks gift card.
There's NFL and NBA on Christmas Day. You can parlay them and do some fun stuff. That'll be awesome. 490 to 1. That, my God, that is a bad price. I can barely wrap my head around these. They're such bad prices. The Magic are for real.
My 6-year-old niece will love it. All right, we've been dragging this out long enough for it. Dan's just gonna hit the curtain.
All right,
so
let's go.
Catch you guys. See ya. Got it. Deep into the old school NFL.
That was good. I mean, we stuck to our guns and we went fast through that enormous slate of games. I don't think we did our listeners disservice at all.
I feel like at a certain point